WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. But Jason, Booker's is not rare and exotic. Well, wait for it. I have here the Booker's batch number 2024-01 or 01 E. E is for export. And normally, we over here in Europe get one of the 4 different batches that you in the States get. So I'm going to show this here. So we look at our bland label. All right, we've been doing this now for, I don't know, 12 years. All right, we just get the same brown label every single year. Now, one year, that was the year 2022, we actually got the same label as you got in the States. Look, the Lumberyard. So, all right, so we have the 2022-02 with no E on there. And I'm going to do a comparison of these two because I really, really, really enjoyed this batch. Now, if you look at the current batch of Booker's, it's the Springfield batch. It's 2024-01, and it has 62.25% ABV. I have 62.2%, so the 0.5 is okay. But the interesting thing is the 2024-01 batch is 7 years, 7 months, and 8 days. I have a batch here in Europe, which is 7 years, 1 month, and 12 days. Is this the 2024-02 in the States? I don't know. It just hit the market at the beginning of June 2024, so I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy opening Booker's bottles. So I'm going to do this here. So what we have is we have the nice little bit of fiberglass underneath here. And you just pull off the wax, which is just such a joy. Boom, you open it and you have the enjoyment. How many different bottles of whiskeys have I had that you have to cut the wax open and it's brittle and it all just have little pieces that fall in the bottle and so on. Beam, no longer a Jim Beam, just Beam, thank you very much. Beam Global, I think it's called now. Thank you very much for using the right type of wax here. Also the nice little thing here with the a little of the bee on here, the emblem. Just a classic bottle, just very, very nice. So this is the 2022-02 Lumberyard. We have 7 years, 1 month, 7 years, 1 month. We have 7 days. Here we actually have, as I mentioned, 12 days. Here we have 62.4. Here we have 62.2% ABV. So what are we paying for these bottles over here in Europe at the moment? They used to be, and what I mean used to be is 3-4 years ago, they used to be 64, 68 euros. Now, I bought this bottle here for 75 euros. Now, that's a good price. The bottles that are still in stock at different stores in Germany, we just get them once a year. And they're usually around anywhere between 70 and 90 euros. So let's just say about an average of 80. All right, now I do know that Booker's has gone up in price in the States, and many people have now just shunned it because of the price. Over here in Europe, anything under 80 euros, bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, cask strength, it's a buy if it tastes halfway good. Originally, I wanted to do a comparison of 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, and 20. And then I looked at my shelf and it's like, I'm out of 2023. It wasn't the best product from Booker's that's ever hit the shelves. This ranks up there at the very, very top with many, many of the other old bourbons that we've had from Booker's. But I just decided to compare these two, all right, instead of having a blind tasting with 5 different ones and missing last year's batch. We get 1 batch on average over here in Europe. Why? Export is 700 milliliters. You get 750 in the States. 750s are not allowed in Europe officially. They are not an approved bottle size for spirits. Wine is filled with 750 over here, but not spirits. Isn't that stupid? Now in America, you're allowed to have the 750s and the 700s, and I really, really do hope that Europe one day might be as generous as the States and allow the 750s over here as well, which would make my business model a lot better because not every producer of American whiskey wants to fill up in 750 and 700s for the export market. All right, so let's smell them, let's review them, let's give this a quote. Let's give this a review, an evaluation here. On the nose. Have you ever had sassafras tea? I get sassafras here. I also have another little kind of question for me and for the community out here. The bottle does give a year, a month, and a day. Does that mean, probably not, but could it mean that all of the barrels were actually produced in that one day? So for the Springfield batch, 7 years, 7 months, 8 days, are they all that age? Or is it just, now legally it's just the youngest barrel would be that? What is a small batch? Fred No, 1992, actually created the term. He says he coined the term small batch for his bookers. So you can put anything between 2, and I'm going to just say another word, 2 million barrels together and create a small batch. It's not legally defined in any way. So what is one of the limiting factors? One of the limiting factors is if I dump a barrel, I'm going to, instead of my 53 gallons, I'm going to have between 40 and 45 gallons left in there, and I need to dump it into a receiving tank, a tank. So I can actually put all the whiskey from all the barrels for this one batch in that tank. You let it set for minutes, hours, days, weeks, depends on how you want to do it, and then you bottle it on the bottling line. Now that tank that you put those emptied barrels into has to have a certain size. So if you have a 200,000 gallon tank, you can make maybe 60,000 bottles. All right, so if your receiving tank that you have is only 10,000 gallons, you're going to only make 40,000. All right, so 3.8 liters, 0.75. So you're going to get about 4 roughly out of each gallon of whiskey in your bottle. This is uncut, unfiltered. So what they do is they actually have a nice little, they pour it out and they keep the charcoal back and just let the nice water, the nice liquid flow into the tank. No water added, no chill filtration, nothing. This is as God made the whiskey, basically from the barrel. And that's why we have the variations of the ABV, the proof here, because of how many barrels, how many things they put together in that year. What does it average out to? All right, so I've given some time in the glass. I've given you some background information here. I still really like Booker's. It's something for us over here in Europe. Once a year, it's a treat. And sometimes we're disappointed, and sometimes we're just delighted with like the 2022 02 version. Sassafras. Imagine a little bit of a walnut hazelnut mix with some brown sugar, some wood extract, and a tiny little bit of vanilla. When I complain about this, I might complain a little tiny, but it's still complaining at a very, very, very high level. It's first world problems, all right? This is a good bourbon. If you can find it in Europe and you can pay under 80 euros, buy it. All right, it's a recommended whiskey. If you can find this under 80 euros and you haven't bought it yet, go out and find it. Go out and buy it. Go out and try it and enjoy it. And this was worth the hunt. This is absolutely great. And even the nose. There's more depth. There's more complexity. There's more brown sugar. There's a little bit more molasses going on in here. Both of these are amazingly good on the nose. All right, 62.2, 62.4. No burn whatsoever. This is just very, very good. And this is a little bit better. Let's try both of these and let's review them. I gave this an A-. I really like this. All right, so let's see where we land over here. It's good. This is going to be a B- whiskey in my book. There's a tiny little bit of an alcohol note on the taste, hey, 62.2%. There's wood, and there's a sassafras. I like sassafras tea. I don't know if I've ever had it. My mom used to give it to me, and I really like it. Sassafras, the extract, it can be turned into licorice. Sassafras, if you really condense it down, you get the licorice moment. It's not the licorice, it's sassafras. But there's a slight astringency, which is not perfect. There's a slight alcohol bite that is not perfect. But still, this is a B- whiskey. Value for money, 75 euros is what I paid for my bottle. I bought two at the same time, bottles. Did bottle shares with these. I have 20 CLs left. I'm happy. I'm going to make a lot of people happy as well, that they can try this and go out and buy it themselves and get their own impression and their own opinion of this. Yeah, very, very nice. Now, what I did in my German video, and I wasn't aware, I don't do that often with Bookers, is I added a little bit of water. I took it from 62.2 down to about 53.5. 107 is one of the sweet spots of whiskeys. Why? You have viscosity. Anything less than 53.5% is going to be watery. Anything over 53.3 doesn't get more thicker, doesn't get more viscosity. It actually gets thinner on the palate for our perception. All right, that might get hotter, but the viscosity is the highest at 53.3% alcohol versus water ratio, 107 proof. And I tried to hit that spot. And when I did that, and I tried it again, I got rid of the alcohol bite. I added some more depth to this. And even the mouthfeel is a little bit better, to be honest. And it has even a tiny little bit more of an intensive sassafras, pecan, I'm saying the word leather for the first time here. Leather moment that I didn't get at cask strength, at barrel proof. I would actually maybe go from B minus all the way up to B here for this with water. I don't normally put water in my Bookers, but this actually is better with water. Not often the case. Here, the 2022-02 version, the Lumberyard, 62.4. The word that I want to use is just wow. This is just amazing. This is fabulous. This is something I love. This is something I can really, really I want to have a case set aside, and every time I do a bourbon blind tasting, put one of the bottles in here and show people how good American Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey can be. This is fabulous. As I said, A minus, maybe an A. Value for money. I think I also paid 75, 80 euros for this. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. No water needed. Just so intense, complex, and just perfectly done. Sometimes I think, okay, what's the difference? We're using the same barrels, new charred oak barrels. We're using basically the same ingredients here for our grains, all right? So we have 75% corn, we have 13% rye, we have 12% barley. Sometimes we have vintages like wine where you know the 1 year because the weather conditions are better than the other year. So if this was made 7 years before 2022, this is going to be 2015. This is going to be 2017. Basically, we take the grains from the year before. You have to dry them. You have to malt the barley. You have to then send them back to the distillery. Between 3 and 12 months is between the harvest and the making of the bourbon. And so, was the corn 7 years ago better or 9 years ago? Was the rye 7 years ago or 9 years ago better? Was the barley better 7 or 9 years ago? 9 years ago because this is 2022, so you have to add 2 years to this. Or were the summers different? The last 2 summers, was there effect that was different? Or did we miss the first 2 years that influenced the whiskey the most and gave this the complexity that it now has. All these different factors, those little dials you can turn, make a product either wow or good. And this is wow, and this is good to very good. And I really don't know. I really don't know what is the major factor here. Is it just choosing the barrels, that they had some fabulous barrels they put in here, and here they just put average to okay to good barrels, not fabulous in there? Who knows? Who knows? Those are the things. I don't even know the batch size. I really don't know if they made for the European market. This is 700 milliliters. This is 700 milliliters. Is this 1,000 bottles, 10,000 bottles, 100,000 bottles? I don't have those facts and figures. If you do, could you please write them down in the chat and give me more information? A minus to A, B minus with water, B plus, or B, sorry. Value for money, definitely a C to C plus, definitely a C plus to a B minus. Go out and find bookers for under 80 euros if you can. Open it up, try it. Now the 2023, the 2020, the 2019, yes. The 2021, yes. The 2022, yes. The 2023 was weak. The 2020 was terrible, really, in my opinion. 01E, and the 2024 is really good. Thank you for watching. So you have over here, I'm just going to say the word $100. Over here, it's, it's going to be 80 euros. You have 80 euros, $100, and you're going to go out and buy a barrel-proof product from America. What are you going to buy? One of the choices we have over here is the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. This used to be 74. Now it's about 84 euros. Very, very, very nice. We have over here the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof ECBP. 70 to 80 euros at the moment. Absolutely great stuff. All right. Comes out over here as well. Once, maybe twice a year, but usually also once. Very, very good stuff. What would you recommend? Put it in the chat, let other people read it, and let other people comment on it. And what's your counter suggestion? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others about this crazy guy over here in Germany reviewing, not rare, but different. Remember, we don't have a name for this, for the 2401E bottle yet. Bye-bye.